We've had a good run. For a species of no claws, no fur, and a soft spot for eating undercooked meat, we've done remarkably well. But make no mistake, we didn't get here because nature was kind. We got here because nature missed. By inches, by degrees, by gravitational keyholes. Throughout history, Earth has lobbed extinction-level events at us like a drunk god playing darts. Some disasters we clawed our way through, others we narrowly dodged, and a few we only know about because some scientists drilled ice out of a glacier and said, "Oh wow, that is not ideal." These are 6 times nature almost wiped us out, and how we somehow, incredibly, are still here to talk about it. Around 74,000 years ago, in what's now Indonesia, the Toba Supervolcano erupted with a force Earth hasn't seen since. This wasn't your average volcano, this was a planet-shaking, sun-dimming, climate-altering beast. Scientists estimate it blasted out over 2,800 cubic kilometers of material. Think Mount Everest twice turned into ash. The skies darkened, global temperatures plummeted, and Earth entered what's called a volcanic winter. The Indian subcontinent got buried in ash. Photosynthesis stalled. Crops, if you had any, didn't make it, and neither did a lot of people. Some theories suggest that the eruption caused a population bottleneck in humans, reducing us to as few as 3,000 survivors worldwide. That's about the number of people on a cruise ship, one bad flu season away from total extinction. Now, not everyone agrees it was that dramatic, but even the conservative estimates say this was very, very bad news. It may have taken humanity thousands of years to recover, and the best part, Toba is still active today. Historians used to call the 6th century the Dark Ages. They didn't know how dark it was. In the year 536 AD, something happened, something big. A volcanic eruption, or maybe several, blasted so much ash and sulfur into the atmosphere that the sun was shrouded for 18 long months. Contemporary writers said the sun gave off no light, that it looked like the moon. Temperatures dropped by as much as 2.5 degrees Celsius. Crops failed across Europe and Asia. China reported summer snow. Ireland recorded a failure of bread for 3 years straight, which is medieval code for everyone starved. And modern science backs this up. Ice cores from Greenland and Antarctica show a spike in sulfur, pointing to a cataclysmic eruption, likely in Iceland. Then, just to pile on, another volcanic eruption hit just a few years later. Then came the plague of Justinian, an outbreak of bubonic plague, which ravaged the Mediterranean and surrounding areas, killing countless in the region. Economies collapsed, empires staggered, entire cities vanished. The historian Michael McCormick called 536 the worst year to be alive, and honestly, he's not wrong. This wasn't just a bad year, this was a global systems failure. And the kicker, we still don't know exactly which volcano caused it, so that's comforting. In 1859, the sun woke up and chose violence. A massive solar flare exploded from its surface and sent a coronal mass injection, basically a billion-ton blob of plasma, hurtling towards Earth. It hit us just a mere 17 hours later. The result was the most powerful geomagnetic storm ever recorded. Auroras lit up the skies as far south as the Caribbean. Telegraph lines caught fire, operators were shocked, some systems even kept running after being unplugged. Now, in 1859, that was spooky, but in 2025, that would be catastrophic. GPS gone, internet fried, power grids melted, planes, satellites, stock markets, all offline. And we wouldn't be fixing it in a day. Experts say a modern Carrington-level event could cost trillions and take years to fully recover from. And it almost happened again. In 2012, a Carrington-sized solar storm missed Earth by just 9 days. 9 days, that's it. A single orbital tick in the wrong direction, and we'd all be learning how to churn butter and write letters again. And the worst part, the sun is still up there, still flaring, still aiming. Right as the guns of World War I were falling silent, a much quieter killer was on the move. The 1918 influenza pandemic, often named the Spanish flu, infected an estimated 500 million people. That was 1/3 of the planet's population, and it killed between 50 and 100 million, far more than the war itself. What made it so deadly wasn't just the scale, it was who it killed. Unlike typical flu strains, which target the very young and old, this one went after healthy young adults, the kind of people who make societies run, the kind of people we count on to fix things when they go wrong. Hospitals were overwhelmed, entire villages in Alaska disappeared. In India alone, over 12 million people died. And this was before antibiotics, before ventilators, before vaccines. All you could really do was wear a mask and hope. Oh, and the name? Spain wasn't the origin. It was just the only country not censoring its news. While the rest of the world was busy pretending everything was fine, Spain was like, hey, so we're all sick. Naturally, the world held the blame with Spain. We survived? Barely. But if you ever wondered how bad pandemics can get, this was it. Between 1347 and 1353, a wave of disease rolled across Europe, North Africa and the Middle East, and it didn't stop until it killed somewhere between 25 and 50 million people. That was half of Europe. Let that sink in, half. This was the Black Death, caused by a bacterium called Yersinia pestis, spread by fleas, carried by rats, delivered by ships, and probably worsened by the cramped, filthy medieval cities. Once it arrived, it spread like wildfire. People dropped dead in the streets. Entire families vanished overnight. And because no one knew anything about bacteria yet, they blamed everything from the planets to the Jews to bad smells. The response? Total panic. Flagellants whipping themselves, mass graves as far as the eye could see, and the total breakdown of social order. But strangely enough, it also reshaped history. Labour shortages empowered peasants, wages rose, feudalism cracked. The world after the plague was darker, yes, but also more modern. In a way, the Black Death didn't just destroy Europe, it remade it. Still, that's not much comfort when your neighbours are coughing up blood, which they were. In 2004, astronomers spotted an asteroid 370 metres wide, shaped like a tumbling potato, and ran the numbers. It had a 2.7% chance of hitting Earth on Friday, April 13th, 2029. They named it Apophis after the Egyptian god of chaos, because of course they did. If Apophis had struck, it would have unleashed 1,200 megatons of energy. That's 20 times more powerful than every bomb dropped during World War II combined. Entire cities would vanish, the global climate would shift. We might survive, but not in the world we know. Thankfully, later observations ruled out an impact in 2029. But for a while, it was the scariest space rock on record. It topped the Torino scale at level 4, the highest rating ever given at the time. And even if it misses us in 2029, it's still going to swing by close, really close. Like closer than any of our satellites close. We've mapped out most of the big threats, but smaller ones slip through, and space doesn't care about our calendars. So here we are, still standing. We've stared down volcanoes that blacked out the sky, survived pandemics that emptied cities, dodged asteroids, solar flares, and bacterial hitchhikers riding fleas like their Uber drivers. And yet, despite all of it, we made it. Not because we were the strongest species or the smartest. Honestly, not even close. We got lucky, repeatedly, miraculously, almost irresponsibly. But here's the catch. Luck runs out, and nature doesn't play favourites. It's not trying to kill us, it just doesn't care if we're here or not. What these close calls show us isn't just how fragile we are, but how much we take survival for granted. Every system we rely on, food, power, medicine, communication, it's all built on the assumption that tomorrow will look like today. But history says otherwise. Tomorrow could be darkened skies, or silence from the satellites, or something microscopic sneaking through a crowded airport. So maybe it's time we stopped treating survival as a given, and started treating it as a choice. Something we prepare for, something we build for, something we earn. Because Earth will keep on spinning with or without us. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.